Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udidayat Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhagavati Naishtaki.
By regular attendance, Srimad Bhagavatam class, and by rendering service to
all substance of heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise of transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable.
Reading this morning from chapter 7 of the second canto, 33 to 35. But chanting Sanskrit today, I'd really like to. If you can go to, let's go to Bhagavad Gita verse 4:7. This is a verse that would really be great for everyone to memorize. Some of you know this verse by heart. Okay, great. So let's all work on this. Any verses to memorize, either this is one. Okay? So, Yada yada hi dharmasya.
Yada hi dharmasya.
Bhavati bharata.
Glanir bhavati bharata. Abhyutanam adharmasya.
Atmanam shrijamyaham.
Tadatmanam shrijamyaham.
Yada hi dharmasya.
Yada hi dharmasya.
Glanir bhavati bharata.
Glanir bhavati bharata. Abhyutanam adharmasya.
Atmanam shrijamyaham.
Tadatmanam shrijamyaham.
Let's go to the synonyms real quick so we understand what we're saying. Yada, whenever and wherever. The other place.
He certainly, dharmasya, of religion, glani, discrepancies, bhavati, become manifested, bharata, O descendant of Bharata, abhyutanam, predominance, adharmasya, of irreligion, tada, at that time, atmanam, self, srijami, manifest, aham, I. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Go back to the Sanskrit. This is the chapter on scheduled incarnations, the specific functions. So how does everyone feel about memorizing this verse? The Gita. All right. Okay. So everyone has to start.
Yada yada hi dharmasya.
Yada hi dharmasya.
Glanir
Glanir
bhavati
bhavati
bharata. Atmanam dharmasya.
Atmanam
Tadatmanam srijamyaham.
shrijamyaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya Glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanam adharmasya Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
Yada yada dharmasya
Yada yada hi dharmasya
Anir bhavati bharvata
Glanirvavati bharata
Tanam adharmasya
Abhyutanam adharmasya
Atmanam vijam aham
Tadatmanam shrijamyaham Yada yada hi dharmasya Glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanam adharmasya Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
Others, please.
Glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanam adharmasya Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
It's easy to remember. Yada, yada. Whenever. Yada, yada. Right, someone else, please.
Yada yada hi dharmasya
Yada yada hi dharmasya
Glanirvavati bharata
Glanirvavati bharata
Abhyutanam adharmasya
Abhyutanam adharmasya
Tatmanam shrijamyaham
Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
Who else?
Yada yada hi dayasna
Yada yada hi dharmasya
Swanir bhaktan Vivita
Glanirvavati bharata
Advenyanam Adhiranasya
Abhyutanam adharmasya
Saratmanyam Srinjam Aham
Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
Any backbenchers?
Yada yada hi dharmasya Glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanam adharmasya Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
Last call. Okay. Just don't be afraid of this stuff.
Yada yada hi dharmasya Glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanam adharmasya Tadatmanam shrijamyaham
You can, should have brought us there. Let's learn 20 verses from Bhagavad Gita. Not about 20, we can learn 2 or 3. When you present Krishna consciousness with a reference to a verse, just give a little Sanskrit example. It really shows the audience that you know your the audience of the person you're talking. I know some very nice devotees, but it's 40 years with you. They just kind of made a decision early in their consciousness. I'm not going to learn Sanskrit. I can't learn their whole life. I don't do Sanskrit. They're very knowledgeable about philosophy. So what I'm hoping we can do is just overcome that mental obstacle. You can learn a little just by repetition. By repetition. You don't have to become fluent. You don't have to learn it. Just memorize a few verses, and it really helps. So this one is particularly important because it's explaining why Krishna comes, particularly in this chapter. So now we'll go over to Bhagavatam. All these These verses today are all about Krishna personally coming. That's
What verse?
oh, it's 7:33. 7:33. Go to translations. So we've been learning about all these various incarnations of Krishna, ranging from Kurma, Manvantari, to Ram, Parasuram, Shingadev. We're now getting to the point where we're talking directly about Krishna's personal past. Let's read this together, please.
The Lord
The Lord was engaged in his pastimes of the Rasa dance in the forest of Vrindavan, enlivening the sexual desires of the wives of the inhabitants of Vrindavan by sweet and melodious songs. A demon of the name Shagjuta, a rich follower of the treasure of heaven, Vera, kidnapped damsels and the Lord's several
Okay, and now, we'd like to read all the demons.
Okay, I'll do my best. All demonic personalities like Palamba, Kanuka, Baka, Keshi, Arisha, Chanura, Ushnika, Kubalaya, Piva, Elephant, Kamsa, Yavana, Narakasura, and Pondra. Great marshals like Shalva, the Ida monkey, and Valvala, Dantavakra, the seven bulls, Shambara, Viduratha, and Rukmi, and also the great warriors like Kamboja, Matsya, Kulu, Srinjaya, and Kikaya, would all fight vigorously, either with the Lord Hari directly or with him under his names of Baladev, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. The demons, thus being killed, would attain either the impersonal Brahmajyoti or his personal abode in the
Okay. A lot of killing. I'm glad you went through this. So maybe you have to read this.
All manifestations in both the material and spiritual worlds are demonstrations of the different potencies of Lord Krishna. Personality of Godhead, Baladev, is his immediate personal expansion, and Bhima, Arjuna, etc. are his personal associates. The Lord would appear, and he does so whenever he appears, with all his associates and potencies. Therefore, the rebellious souls, like the demons and demoniac men, mentioned by names like Pralamba, would be killed either by the Lord himself or by his associates. All these affairs will be clearly explained in the 10th canto. You should know well that all the above-mentioned entities killed would attain salvation either by being merged in the Brahmajyoti of the Lord or being allowed to enter to the abodes of the Lord or migrants. This has already been explained by Bhishma Dev, first canto. All persons who participated in the battlefield of Kshetra or otherwise with the Lord or with Baladev, etc., would benefit by attaining spiritual existence according to the situation of their minds at the time of death. Those who recognized the Lord would enter Vaikuntha, and those who estimated the Lord as only a powerful being would attain salvation by merging into the spiritual existence of the impersonal Brahmajyoti Lord. But every one of them would get released from material existence. Since such is the benefit of those who played with the Lord, one can imagine what would be the position of those who devotedly served the Lord in transcendental relationship.
Oh, but yeah. So, you're all too young to remember a comedian named Flip Wilson in the 1960s. He became famous. A couple of the fossils here still. You remember his famous line? The devil made me do it. When anything you do wrong, the devil made me. I was brought up with this concept of God and the devil. competition going on. Devil, Satan, is this personality who got kicked out of heaven for being rebellious. So he started his own movement. So now there's this fierce competition going on between Satan and God for the souls of the world. God sends Jesus, and Jesus helps us fight off Satan back to God. That's the idea. Of course, anyways, so many nuances, but the point is that the idea of God competing with anybody discounts the idea of God. God, by definition, has no competitor, has no, not engaged in some kind of a fierce ego battle with somebody. Sometimes gets the better of him, sometimes gets the better of them. It's nothing. How could God have any competitor? The whole concept of God is that person who never was created, who exists perpetually, who creates everything, including the demons. So because God creates everything, everything must be dependent on God. Everyone's existence must be dependent on, and God, by definition, has control over all his creations. It's not like AI, Terminator, is going to take over the world. God creates some manifestations, and then those manifestations start getting back at it. I mean, parents experience that with teenagers, but God has no such problem. Because the very existence of everyone and everything depends on God. That's the definition. God. If we're theists, we understand this original person. To deny that person's existence or to try to minimize that person's authority or power or control, that's the demonic. That manifests, demonic mentality manifests in our lives how? To higher. Right, thinking we don't need a God we can enjoy on our own. It's like if you break into somebody's house as a thief, and you see, oh, they've got nice food in the refrigerator and nice furniture to sit on, and nice TV to watch, and nice pool to swim in. You're enjoying all the facilities of the actual owner, but you don't actually have a right to be there. It isn't really your property. And even if the owner is tolerant and lets you exploit it for some time, it's not a permanent condition. You cannot go to court and say, yeah, now this is my house. Unless you live in San Francisco. That's entirely laughing because some devotees purchased a building in San Francisco to use as a Krishna house. But there's squatters on the first floor. And because of the very liberal laws, the squatters have rights are able to stay there, although they don't own the building. So we're squatters in the material world, basically.
By the end of that story, they are getting kicked out.
Eventually, it's getting kicked out, and so do we. Even with squatting. And this is why the demonic mentality is so foolish, because it cannot endure. Look what Hiranyakashipu, champion Asura, the Acharya of the Asuras, what was he trying to do? He was trying to get immortality. He was a big shot, and he wanted to get in a position where he could stay a big shot. Look at our presidents in this country. The last couple of presidents, very elderly, well past their time. But you want to get in power, or in Russia, or in other countries, everywhere. When somebody gets in power, even if they're way beyond their youthful abilities, they want to stay in power, whatever it takes. This is a demonic. I don't want to confront realities of my life. That I don't own this house that I'm squatting. I don't own it. It doesn't. I can't keep it. Even if I build it myself, I can't. So here is the difference between the divine and the demonic. In chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna devotes his entire chapter to discussing qualities of the divine and divine. So what are some of the qualities of person in divine consciousness that are mentioned there or elsewhere?
They have an aversion to
Aversion to fault find. What?
They're clean,
Clean. What else? Honest. Yes. Humility. Humble. What?
Have knowledge.
They have knowledge. Yes. Learning. Right? Yes. All right. And now, what are some of the qualities of the Maniac?
duplicity.
The duplicitous.
Madness, indolence, sleep.
Madness, indolence, and sleep. Whoa. Did you just describe the Brahmachari No. In the old days. Not to go follow us in the house. Yes. What are some of the other qualities of it?
They're angry, lustful,
Angry, lusty,
violent.
violent. So Krishna has this nice Sanskrit verse. My God, brother, so that I'm chanting 16 rounds of this every day. Ishwaraham aham bodhi samsadim balavam. Ishwaraham. Ishwar means what? Controller.
Controller.
Ishwaraham means
I'm the controller.
controller. What is bodhi?
Enjoy.
Enjoyer. Aham bodhi. So I'm the enjoyer. Ishwaraham aham bodhi sam siddhi. What is siddhi?
Like power.
In a broad sense, it means perfection. Perfection. Some siddhi. So I am perfect. Balavam. Bala. What is bala?
Strength.
Strong. Yes. Balavam. I'm very strong and sukhi.
Happy.
I'm happy. So this is how the demon thinks. Ishwarham. I'm the controller. I am Ishwarham aham bogi. I'm the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and
Instagram.
happy.
Instagram. Influencers.
Yes. A lot of demons on Instagram. So, I am the controller. I'm the enjoyer. I'm perfect, powerful, and happy. Yes, and people take pictures of their meals in restaurants and share that with everyone they know. Just to say, look how much I'm enjoying. Look how happy I am. Look. All of this is the consciousness of what I want to enjoy the kingdom of God with God. I want to enjoy God's creation and not have to give any props to the Creator. And to no credit. And Krishna's so kind that if we want to do that, he lets us go. He's not waiting to stomp us under his foot or hit us with a lightning bolt. If that's what we want, he lets us go. But the problem is that we will never find happiness because that's not why we were. It's just not in our constitution to be happy independent of our creator. For us, for anyone. So in the Gita, Krishna explains that he creates his countless species of life. And Sarva Yogi Shikonti, something a lot more come from me. And there are living beings in each and every species. So the plants are characterized by immobility. Plant species are all living beings in the plant body that get started. Animals can move, but they're characterized by anxiety. Animals always anxiety. But way to get up. Like a bird, it's a little bird. They're always trying to protect themselves. So the human species are characterized by intelligence. So we have the intelligence to go beyond mobility, anxiety. We have to use that intelligence properly. To create a big building takes intelligence. But if that building is just used for animal propensity, eating, sleeping, mating, then it's a waste of that intelligence. Misused intelligence. Srila Prabhupada was once talking about this topic, misused intelligence. He was in Australia, and as many of us were when we were around Prabhupada, boys were very nervous. So Prabhupada asked for some water, and this young brahmachari went into the room. They had a very nice goblet, a goblet, the vase, and a cup. And this devotee was not familiar with it, so didn't know how it worked. It was upside down in the dry. So he put water in the vase. He brought in his goblet upside down with some water. And so everybody in the room kind of looked, a very awkward moment. Prabhupada says, misused intelligence. So yes, it is a fool's errand, right? To try to build up something in this world that we can enjoy separately from Krishna. Boy, this is an unpopular message. Because everybody's busy doing that, right? Whole life is all about the whole career, their whole existence is about trying to build up something they can enjoy, and God can be there or not. No, that's up to you. That's up to the individual. Which is true, but it's never emphasized. It's like university. There's so many topics, so many departments: engineering, medicine, law, humanities, physical education. You name it. Everything is taught. But where is the department that can differentiate between living and thought? Oh, that's philosophy. But isn't that rather fundamental for everyone to understand, regardless of their field? There's no harm in getting an education in fields, but if there isn't a basic knowledge of who we are and what our purpose in life is, no matter what we may do, we're going to lose it. So this is the demoniac mentality. So in Krishna Lila, there were so many big demons who were ready to challenge him personally. And he destroyed them all, either personally or through his agents like Baladev. But in Chaitanya Lila, pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna's most recent avatar, where is there any killing? Anyone remember Lord Chaitanya killing anybody? Krishna was killing the demons left and right. But Gatmanam Shajamya, he was about to. Yes, he was about to. Who stopped him?
Lord Nityananda.
Lord Nityananda, yes. So Lord Chaitanya is the avatar for Kali Yuga. Why doesn't he have to kill anybody? Prabhupada had a simple answer to this question. He'd have to kill everybody. That was one of his Prabhupada said everyone is already dead.
Because in this age, the demon is in every one of us.
Yes, demon is also part of our nature. So he's going to kill the demons, he has to kill everything. So he kills the demons, but not through violence, but through the holy name. He kills not the demon, but the demoniac tendency. This is something that Jesus taught. Remember, you hate the sin and not the sinner. So somebody's doing something wrong. We don't hate them. Just hate the fact that they're doing this unfortunate. This way, we are developing our own divine qualities. This is one of the divine qualities: tolerance, love for people, respect, appreciation, characteristics, humility. So these are some general points about the divine demoniac. Yes, so as you say, demon is with us all, demoniac nature is with us all. Krishna doesn't have to come and kill us because we're infected with body nature. This material nature will take care of that. So we will automatically give up this body which we're so attached. And another one, go on and on and on. So bhakti is beautiful because it involves this very foundational problem. Are we going to be on the divine side or the divine side? Just chant Hare Krishna, divine qualities come out automatically. It's Yasti Bhakti or Bhagavati. Divine qualities include like freedom from anger. Anger makes fools of us all. When we get angry, that means the demoniac side is on top. And anger is the younger brother of what? Lust. Right. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which explains the whole psychology of the demoniac and fallen soul. Nayam Visham. So it begins by just contemplating the objects of the senses. This becomes increasingly easy in this digital age. Contemplate the object of the senses, which really has messed up so many times. To watch all this repulsive stuff online because of lust. And that creates all kinds of mental and physiological issues. So that contemplating the object of the senses leads to desire. Yeah, I want that. But then when we can't get it, we become angry. Yeah, frustrated. Because we can't fulfill our lust, we're angry. And when we get angry, what happens to our intelligence? Yeah, the bewildered, angry person will do many crazy. It's even a defense in court, isn't it? Like a crime of passion. Someone may commit a heinous crime, but because they're overcome by passion, use the sentence. You're not a career criminal. You're just overcome by passion. Something stupid. So we're being slightly less. So if we're angry, as soon as we get angry, we should know the demoniac side of us is now manifesting. Therefore, what do? What's a good strategy when
Take that walk. That's my mantra right there.
Take a walk.
Take a walk.
Take a breath. Take a breath. Yes. Chant Hare Krishna. Yes. Just about anything, but give voice to the anger. Prabhupada said that relationships are like China. And once you break them, you cannot really put them back together to the same extent. Although Brahmatirtha likes to say, as a mediator, he likes to say, well, in China and Japan, they have this tradition that if a teacup is broken, they glue it back together with gold, some kind of gold adhesive. And so it's considered even more beautiful and valuable. But that's the Japanese. For most of us, if we get angry at somebody, then what do we have to do? Later, when we cool down, then we have to go apologize. Or we may not apologize. We may just hold that resentment in our heart, right? We hold that resentment in our heart for the rest of our lives, and then what do we think of when we die? Yes. And then what do we have to take birth? We have to take birth with that person again because we're just thinking of that person and we're angry again. So in every respect, yeah, conquering anger is one of the divine qualities. Indulging anger is one of the divine qualities. All right. So anyone have any particular favorite demon? Like,
Yeah, it is always my passion. About the fallen angel situation in I guess it's the Old Testament where it's described that Satan, they call him like the night star or something like that. But the morning star. And I guess my question is, it's so similar to Hiram Raksha specifically, because he wanted to fight, and him and his brother, they started their own movement, like you said, they did the same thing, and they were at the gates. They were basically angel guards at the gates that made an offense. Well, their offense wasn't based on envy. The Satan's offense was based on envy. Just like, the theology of us wanting to enjoy like Krishna, it's like the same thing. But what's the difference of why isn't that just a rasa, like it is with Hiran, Raksha, and Krishna, because Krishna wanted to fight. That's kind of the main purpose of why he descended in order for them to never come back. So I just guess I wanted, they're so parallel, but a lot of times in Christianity, it's just not filled in with like kind of full circle details,
Right.
like a lot of it is. So
Like somehow God lost control of Satan.
yeah,
Yeah, that's why I mentioned also. Definitely good. It's like, okay, I can't. Ranyaksha and Ranyakasha, who were associates of the Lord, who came down to earth to fight. They had the choice of 7 births as devotees or 3 births as demons. Wanting to get back to the spiritual world as fast as possible, they said, take 3 births as demons. Several of the ones mentioned here were in that. Some of them were mentioned here. I don't have this. So the difference is control. Like there was never a time Krishna was not in control of the situation. They say Satan left heaven because of pride and me. That resonates. Really, the difference is that the power of Satan is emphasized so much in a satanic society. It gives us an excuse. It gives the idea of the devil being a competitor to God gives us an excuse. There's a saying: the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Right? So that's kind of like get out of jail free card for any kind of materialistic activity. Well, you can't blame me, blame Satan. But I believe, even though I'm basically doing whatever Satan advises, I believe this is sort of the state theology that is not at all consistent with what we actually read in the Bible or other scripture. God is neutral. If we want to enjoy without him, he might yes. If we want to come back with him, happy to have him back. He's not pressing us either way. He's inviting us, but he's not forcing us. So we want to live in the mind of five police officers. I think we're enjoying that stuff. And yeah, Krishna's not never in danger of losing control of the situation. All right, what else? Yes.
I have a question about Vritasura, because that's a pretty different example.
Yes.
Because I read that actually, although the body of the demon still retains its Krishna grace.
Yes.
So does that mean that ultimately, for a liberated soul, whatever so-called material form that they take on is for them just to play? So ultimately, his consciousness is actually above the realm. So even in the apparent mode of being human. So I just wondered if you could explain that or just elaborate on this.
Yes. It's a good story. In the 6th canto, so there was a great king, Ketu, had everything except his son. He really wanted his son. So he asked the saint, can you help me bring his son? He said, I can help you get his son, but his son will bring you happiness and distress. So Chitraketu thought, well, okay, he'll be a teenager. Okay, I'll think. So the boy was born to one of his many queens, this great king, but then the other queens became jealous and poisoned the boy and killed him. So as much joy as he felt finally having a son, he felt great devastation losing his son. So then the sage returned and said, I told you, this child will bring you happiness and distress. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to bring the boy back to life? And he said, yes, please. So then the boy popped up in the crib, and mother and father were so happy. "Oh, don't you recognize us? We're your loving parents." And the lady said, "Who are you?" "We're your parents." "Which parents are you? I've had so many parents." So through the agency of this baby, the Chitraketu became enlightened. He realized that nothing in this world is going to be. But then, being liberated, went off on Harinam. Got this giant celestial airplane and started flying around the universe doing kirtan. And once he was flying over the planet of Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva was there, Kailash is the name of this. Lord Shiva was there giving Bhagavatam class with his wife, Parvati, sitting on his lap. So, just as we might find that amusing, Chitraketu found that amusing. When he laughed out loud. So, when Shiva saw this, he didn't mind. Parvati saw it, she was quite upset. She said, "Laughing at me and my husband, I curse you to become a demon." So Chitraketu then landed the airplane. And he got out and he paid his obeisances, got in the plane and left. So Parvati was surprised. Isn't he going to ask me to withdraw this curse? And so then Lord Shiva famously explained, Narayana Sarvena Tasma. If one is a devotee, it doesn't matter if one is in a hellish body or a heavenly body, any situation, one will always remember Krishna. So this is how, in his next birth, Chitraketu became a demon who was Krishna conscious, Vritrasura. And so as a demon, he was fighting on behalf of the demons. He had a big fight with Indra, the head of the demigods, as they're always doing. But Vritra just wanted to be killed like a He was overpowering all the demigods. And then then Indra attacked him. And he was telling Indra, not like this, do it like this, then you'll kill me. Because he was a devotee, he had realized nothing in this world worth staying around for. This will be my chance to leave this world. So he was inviting Indra's attack that way. So, but in their exchange, Indra, who gets he gets material desires quite often. It is clear in the exchange that Vritrasura is the better devotee. That's why that particular section of the Bhagavatam is so beautiful. The prayers of Vritrasura. I have nothing in this world that I want. Please let me surrender fully to Krishna. That answer your question?
I have a specific thought, which is, if he's in the body of a demon, does he carry the demonic qualities or the saintly qualities?
Saintly qualities. Although he was fighting on behalf of the demons. Just like in the Battle of Kurukshetra, which we read about in Bhagavad Gita at the beginning. Very saintly persons like Bhishma and Drona were fighting on the demoniac side headed by Drona because of circumstance and obligation. So all of these things are orchestrated by Krishna. And they're full of delicious nuances like this. So there's no, it's not quite like, again, the very black and white Satan and God. Krishna's controlling everything. And he puts devotees in the position of demons, and he puts demons in the position of devotees. Excuse me, like when Krishna was born, for example, you remember before Krishna was born, his 7 previous siblings all died, or the 6 rather. They were killed by Kamsa, because Kamsa was told, the children of my sister and her husband are going, the child's going to kill me, the 8th child. So he didn't take any chances. He killed the first 6 babies. Can you imagine taking the baby from his parents and killing them in front of them, just to protect himself? So after the 7th one was born, it was Durga, and she overpowered Kamsa, and he got very frightened, very humble. Actually, the 8th one. So I don't know the whole story, but the bottom line is Kamsa, the demon, became very humble. And then he began speaking Bhagavat Dharma. He began speaking to his sister, oh, I'm so sorry I killed them. You know, your children that I killed, they were all spirit souls. They are all eternal. They had their own karma. He began preaching. Ravana also. Hiranyakashipu also. They know the philosophy. So they can act like, they can present it like devotees. It's just overall they want to compete with Krishna, not really serve. So Krishna puts all these different devotees in situations, but he never loses control. He's not competing with Maya. Maya is a great devotee of Krishna. Maya or Satan, you could say, a great devotee of Krishna. One of my god sisters got the name of initiation, Maha Maya Devi Das. Everybody laughs. And Prabhupada said, no, she was a great devotee. She has a thankless task. Just like the cops, the police have to enforce the law. So it's kind of a thankless task. Nobody wants to see a flashing blue light in the rearview mirror. But that's their job. So they work for the government. They have a role. So Maya is like Satan is like that. Anything else?
I like what you said about it's like never to black and white. Because if I'm faced with an issue that like immediately makes me angry, I'm very aware that I'm angry. So it's easier for me to deal with it when it's obvious. And I've noticed that all these demons have different qualities, and they're also the Lord and his incarnations. It's always this combination of different things. What I've noticed in myself is that if somebody I feel like wrongs me, I bury it and then it comes up in my behavior in like little spiteful ways. I guess my question is, how would I circumvent that? Like, how do I know if I'm like sometimes I'm not even aware of it, where I'm just like I'll just take a little note and bury it subconsciously, and then later on I'll be short with them, or I'll just like, you know what I mean? I'll build some sort of thing because there's lots of subtle nuances. I'm sometimes I'm not aware that I'm being spiteful until after the fact when I reflect on it. I'm like, you were being weird, you know what I mean? Like, I guess what are the signs that I'm being triggered, and what's the best way?
Right. The techniques of nonviolent communication that allow us to express anger without making the other person angry. If we repress feelings, they are going to come back. So we need to learn how to express them in a non-offensive way. The simple way is to simply express the feeling to the other person without accusation. I'm feeling this way towards you. And that's it. You just state the feeling without commentary. Just the verse, not the verb. This is what I'm feeling. And then the person has the opportunity to rectify the situation or say something confrontational, like, well, you have no right to feel that. If that happens, then at least you know that this is the person to whom I cannot reveal. But the fact that you reveal them keeps them best way. We just say, oh, this feeling doesn't comport with my philosophy of life, Krishna consciousness. So therefore, I'm just going to pretend it's not there. And how much can we sweep under the rug? You know, it starts getting lumpy. So it's much better to express the feeling, but and not in a way that's accusatory. You did this. That's a you mistake. I'm feeling this. That's called a mistake. This and other strategies for nonviolent communication are part of our curriculum, really, formally. And you know, living in the ashram is like being in the rock tumbler. Your false ego is rubbing against somebody else's all the time, or often. So learning how to express without being offensive. Just stating the fact, this is what I'm feeling. Stating with some humility. My senses are imperfect. I don't know everything, but somehow I'm feeling this. What are your thoughts? Better that than to repress and then have it come out later in some kind of antagonistic behavior.
So that's good to like approach it in a humble sense, because if you start accusing somebody, like you were saying, like they almost undermine you. Like, how dare you feel that way?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like but like I'm feeling this way because this, and that, or like forgive me if I'm reading this wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like approaching it from a humble state.
Yes.
Once you start preaching, like then you're preaching and you're like trying to justify your bad behavior, and they're like bad qualities almost Prabhu.
That's right, that inspires other bad qualities. So I really appreciate what you're saying. Okay, good. We'll stop there. I do want to just mention that if we go to Bhagavatam class regularly, what does the verse say?
Yada, yada.
No. God.
Let's see. You know,
I'm kind of on right now, but by reading the same history, God, at the time, the hurt in
yes.
you know, I don't know. Something's almost like
All the inauspicious things in the heart. So we talk about techniques, but the practice of hearing and chanting automatically cleanses the anger, the lust, the unwanted qualities. Oh, it just takes them. All right. We brought back to God.
Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahman Vaishnave Swalpa Punya Vatam Raja Vishwasanya Vijayate. Fortunate persons develop faith in Mahaprasad, spiritual food remnants of the Lord, in the deity of Sri Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the transcendental Krishna Nam, and in the Vaishnavas. Bhagavad Mahaprasadam ki.
Would you start soon? In the selection, there are mics to choose from.
Wait,
Would you see which one?
it's selected now.
I do not know this. What? See how many microphones we have? Let me turn it off. Just remember.
Yeah.
Remember, so that's not a webcam.
No.
It could be either.
It could be that one.
USB, right?
Yeah.
Let me turn it off and see if it disappears. Actually, can you pull the thing out of there?
This? Maybe let's refresh it.
Yeah,
Oh, so it was that one.
it was that.
It was that one, whatever the 1.1.0 thing. Okay, let's
It
see.
said USB on it, right?
Yeah, and then it'll come back on. Is the mic on?
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
That thing should just.
Yeah. Okay, so it's that one.
That one. Okay, so next time.
Yeah.
USB audio one. Okay.
But I did ask Brandon to check it. He said it sounded okay. I asked him to check the live stream.
It's better than it was. It's still not clear. Let's see if this works. This was
Okay.
a $10 investment.